Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles. I never meant to find it. That's the part that keeps playing over and over in my head. Like some sick joke the universe decided to tell at my expense. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't looking for trouble. Hell, I had no reason to suspect anything. But fate has a cruel sense of humor. It was a Tuesday evening, and I was sitting on the couch, half watching some documentary on Netflix while scrolling through my phone. My wife, Vanessa, had been in the shower for the past 20 minutes, her off-key humming barely audible through the closed bathroom door. Bored, I reached for the remote. That's when I saw it, her laptop sitting open on the coffee table. The screen was dim, but not locked. A browser window was open. A video paused mid-frame. It was a thumbnail of a recording. At first, my brain didn't register what I was looking at. The image was blurry, a mix of warm lighting and tangled sheets. But then my eyes caught something familiar. Our bedroom. Our bed. A pit formed in my stomach. The rational part of me, the part that still wanted to believe in my marriage, in my wife, told me there had to be an explanation. Maybe it was an old video. Maybe it was something we had filmed together, and I had just forgotten. But then my fingers moved, almost against my will. I tapped the spacebar, and the video played. I wasn't in it. The first thing I saw was her body, bare, exposed, writhing beneath a man who wasn't me. A man whose voice, deep, gruff, murmured her name like it belonged to him. The sheets crumpled beneath them, our sheets, the ones I had washed just days ago. My breath caught in my throat. I wanted to stop watching, to tear my eyes away, but I couldn't. The sounds, the gasps, the moans, the whispered words of passion, they weren't for me. My mind blanked, my body frozen in place. Rage, betrayal, nausea. It all hit me at once. A tidal wave of emotions crashing into my chest. My wife was cheating on me. And worse, she had been stupid enough or bold enough to keep a recording of it. I forced myself to look away, my hands shaking as I reached for the laptop. I clicked the file information. Date created 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. While I was at work. While I was texting her to ask if she wanted me to pick up dinner. While I was still kissing her goodbye in the mornings. Telling her I loved her. Like a goddamn fool. I clenched my fists, breathing hard through my nose. My entire marriage, 8 years, reduced to a joke I hadn't been in on. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the laptop against the wall, shatter it into pieces like my trust. But I didn't, because then, something else caught my eye. Another video file. And another. And another. There were 6 videos total, each with a different date. Some from months ago. One from last year. A slow, suffocating horror crept up my spine. How long had this been going on? How long had I been the idiot? The shower shut off. I heard the curtain slide open, followed by the soft pad of her feet on the bathroom floor. Vanessa was getting out, coming back into this living room, completely unaware that I now knew the truth. My heart pounded against my ribs. My hands curled into tight fists. She had no idea that her little secret had just been exposed. And she had no idea what was coming next. The moment she stepped out of the bathroom, I knew I had to bury everything. The rage, the heartbreak, the sickening betrayal curling in my gut. It all had to disappear, at least on the surface. Because if Vanessa saw even a flicker of what I was feeling, she'd know something was wrong. And I couldn't have that. Not yet. She walked into the living room, towel wrapped around her body, damp hair clinging to her shoulders. Her lips curled into a lazy smile. "Hey, babe," she murmured, stretching like a cat. "Miss me?" The words hit like a slap. How many times had she said those exact words before? How many nights had she come home to our house, slipped into our bed, kissed me goodnight, while still dripping with another man's sweat? I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw ached. But I smiled. "Yeah," I said, forcing my voice into something soft. "Just watching some TV." Her eyes flickered to her laptop on the coffee table. I saw it, the briefest moment of hesitation before she walked over and closed it. She had no idea. "Long day?" she asked, ruffling my hair as she passed. I nearly flinched. She had no right to touch me. Not after what I'd seen. Not after what she had done. But instead of recoiling, instead of screaming in her face, instead of showing my hand, I let out a fake chuckle and rubbed my temples. Yeah, I sighed. Just tired. She hummed, padding toward the bedroom. I waited until I heard the closet door open, until she was too distracted picking out her pajamas to see me grab my phone and snap pictures of her laptop screen. Evidence. I wasn't an idiot. My first instinct was to explode, to throw the laptop in her face and demand the truth. But that was the wrong move. People like Vanessa? Liars. Manipulators. If I confronted her, she'd twist it. She'd cry, gaslight me, make me doubt my own eyes. Not this time. I needed to be smarter. I needed a plan. That night, I lay next to her in bed, listening to her slow, steady breathing. She was asleep. Peaceful. As if she hadn't been shattering our marriage behind my back for months. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, my mind spinning through possibilities. Divorce? Too simple. Too clean. She deserved worse. Expose her? Maybe. But who to? Friends? Family? Her boss? That thought lingered. She worked for a high-end marketing firm, one that prided itself on image and discretion. If word got out that she had been sleeping with a client, or worse, a coworker, her entire career could go up in flames. Now that had potential. But it wasn't enough. I wanted to know who. I needed to know who. So the next day when she left for work, I went straight to her laptop. I didn't touch the videos. Not yet. Too obvious. Instead, I went for the recent files. Emails. Text backups. A hidden folder labeled personal. And then, in her browsing history, an encrypted messaging app. She thought she was being careful. She wasn't careful enough. It took me less than an hour to crack into it. And there he was. Daniel Weston. The name meant nothing to me at first. Then I dug deeper. He was her client. A big one. CEO of some high-end fitness chain, dripping with money, married with kids. Vanessa had been managing his brand's social media campaign. And he had been managing my wife. The messages were sickening. Miss you so much, baby. Counting the days? Your husband's still clueless? LOL. You left your panties in my car last time. Should I keep them? The walls of my world cracked, but I held on. I took screenshots. Every text. Every disgusting I love you. Every meeting they had scheduled under fake excuses. It wasn't just about the cheating. Vanessa was breaking company policy, a major ethics violation. This wasn't just adultery. This was career-ending. And if karma didn't catch up to her, I would make damn sure it did. That evening when she got home, I greeted her with a kiss. She smiled into it, completely unaware that her world was about to burn. How was work? I asked, feigning curiosity. She sighed, rolling her eyes. Ugh, stressful. Had to deal with this one really demanding client today. I swear I'm this close to losing it. I smirked. Yeah? I asked. Who? She scoffed. Some idiot named Daniel Weston. I swear he is such a pain in the ass. I almost laughed. The audacity. I let my fingers brush her cheek, keeping my expression neutral. Yeah, I murmured. Sounds awful. Inside, though, I had never felt more powerful. She thought she was playing me, but she had no idea the game had already changed, and I was about to win. It's funny how when people think they've gotten away with something, they get careless. Arrogant. Vanessa had no idea that every word she spoke, every lie she told, was only weaving a noose around her own neck. The more I pretended to be the clueless, doting husband, the bolder she got. She started slipping. A late-night work meeting that wasn't on her calendar. A last-minute client dinner where she came home with freshly showered hair. A misplaced text, one she meant to send to him, but it came to me instead. Wish I could be in your arms right now. I hate sneaking around. I almost laughed. You hate sneaking around? Good. You're gonna hate what comes next even more. The pieces fall into place. My plan didn't start with direct revenge. That was too easy. Too emotional. I needed a clean hit. A silent takedown. And that meant using the tools she had so conveniently provided. Vanessa's affair wasn't just personal. It was professional suicide. I dug deeper into Daniel Weston. The guy wasn't just her lover, he was her ticket to a career-ending scandal. Daniel was married. To a woman with a high-profile reputation in philanthropy circles. A woman who, from what I could tell, had absolutely no idea her husband was sleeping with my wife. That changed quickly. One simple email. One anonymous account. Subject, your husband and Vanessa are, you deserve the truth. Attached? Screenshots. Every explicit message. Every meeting. Every lie. I sent it on a Monday morning. By noon, Daniel's world was already falling apart. The fallout begins. The next evening, Vanessa walked through the door visibly rattled. I knew why. She hadn't checked her phone since she left work. I had seen it buzzing on the counter for the past hour, ignored calls, frantic texts. I took a sip of my beer, keeping my voice casual. Tough day? She hesitated. Yeah. Just client issues. I nearly smiled. Client issues. That was one way to put it. She sat down, rubbing her temples, and for a moment I almost pitied her. Almost. But then I remembered the video. The lies. The months of betrayal. So I just watched as she fell apart. Vanessa's company had a strict non-fraternization policy with clients. The kind that wouldn't just fire her, they'd bury her career. Daniel's wife? Not the type to suffer in silence. By Wednesday morning, a formal complaint was filed at Vanessa's company. By Wednesday afternoon, Daniel's board of directors got wind of his unethical conduct and initiated an internal review. By Thursday morning, Vanessa was called into a meeting. And by Thursday night, she came home sobbing. I sat at the kitchen table, pretending to skim through emails, watching her from the corner of my eye. She dropped her purse on the counter, her entire body shaking. I took a slow breath. What's wrong? She swallowed hard, wiping at her face. She hesitated. I might be losing my job. I frowned. What? Why? She let out a shaky breath, her hands gripping the back of a chair. There's this rumor going around the office. About me and a client. And it's not true, her voice cracked. But someone must have reported it and now they're investigating me. Not true. You filmed yourself cheating, Vanessa. I fought to keep my expression neutral. That's awful, I said, shaking my head. Do you have any idea who would start something like that? She froze. And for a brief second I saw it. A flicker of doubt. Suspicion. Her eyes flicked to mine, searching as if wondering if I knew. But I held my face perfectly still. She swallowed. I don't know. She was lying. She knew I knew. She just didn't have proof. And that was exactly how I wanted her. Friday night, everything exploded. Daniel's wife? She didn't just leave him. She went nuclear. She exposed him publicly. Social media posts, leaked texts, screenshots sent to business competitors, tagging Vanessa's company, calling her a home-wrecking parasite, it was everywhere. By the time Vanessa got home, she was a wreck. She barely made it through the front door before collapsing against the wall, shaking. I sat on the couch, watching it unfold on my phone, a beer in one hand. Jesus Christ, she whispered, scrolling through the news. This is insane. I glanced at her, feigning confusion. What is? She turned, eyes wild, thrusting her phone toward me. Someone leaked everything. The texts, the affair, my name, everything. It's all over the internet. I frowned, leaning forward. Wow. That's crazy. She stared at me. Her breath hitched. She knew. She knew I wasn't surprised. She knew I wasn't shocked. And in that moment I saw pure, gut-wrenching fear. She knew her life was over. The final move, my exit. I let it sit for one more day. One last night of watching her unravel. Then, on Saturday morning, as she sat in the kitchen, hollow-eyed and defeated, I placed a single envelope on the table. She looked up, confused. What's this? I gave her the same fake smile she had given me for months. Divorce papers. The color drained from her face. I know everything, Vanessa, I said, my voice calm. The videos. The texts. The lies. I tilted my head. And now? So does everyone else. Tears welled in her eyes. Her mouth opened, but no excuse came. Because there was nothing left to say. Nothing left to save. She had already lost. I stood, grabbing my keys. I'll be staying at a hotel for now. The lawyer will be in touch. She didn't move. Didn't beg. Didn't fight. She just sat there, staring at the wreckage of her life. I walked to the door, pausing only once. Oh, I added, glancing over my shoulder. By the way. I smiled. Karma says hi. And with that I walked away. The moment I walked out that door, Vanessa's world began to collapse. And for the first time in months, maybe even years, I felt free. I checked into a hotel across town, knowing that every second I spent away from that house was another second Vanessa spent drowning in the mess she created. But I wasn't done yet. This wasn't just about walking away. It was about making sure she suffered. Because karma isn't just poetic. Karma is thorough. And I was karma's executioner. The legal firestorm. By Monday morning, the legal battle had already begun. My lawyer, a bulldog of a man named Greg Harper, moved quickly. With the evidence I had gathered, we filed for divorce on grounds of adultery and sought a financial settlement that would leave Vanessa in ruins. She had no idea how much damage was coming. Because while she was busy destroying our marriage, I was making damn sure she wouldn't walk away from this unscathed. I had proof of her affair. I had proof she had used our shared accounts to fund her little rendezvous. I had proof she broke her company's ethics policy. In short, she was screwed. But the best part? She didn't even know it yet. Her job gone. By Wednesday, Vanessa was fired. Officially. The internal investigation didn't take long. Not when Daniel's wife had already turned the entire industry against them. Her company had zero choice but to cut her loose. They cited ethical violations and improper conduct with a client. Her reputation? Destroyed. And Daniel? He wasn't just losing his marriage. He was losing his company. His board of directors forced him out. Turns out, sleeping with your brand manager while pushing a family-oriented fitness brand wasn't a great look. By the end of the week, Daniel's net worth had plummeted. His wife was going after him for half of everything, and from the way she weaponized social media, it was clear. She wasn't stopping until he was ruined. I couldn't have planned it better if I tried. Karma worked fast. Vanessa's breakdown. By Friday, the texts started coming in. Vanessa, please, we need to talk. Vanessa, you don't have to do this. We can fix this. Vanessa, I lost my job. I lost everything. You've made your point. Just talk to me, please. I didn't respond. I let her sit in silence. I let her feel the weight of everything she lost. But I wasn't done yet. Not until I made sure she was completely and utterly crushed. The final blow, her home, her money, her future gone. The divorce was moving fast. Since Vanessa was unemployed and the guilty party, my lawyer pushed for an aggressive settlement. We fought for the house. She had nowhere else to go. No alimony. She was officially jobless. But that wasn't my problem. Reimbursement for all the money she spent on her affair. Hotels, gifts, vacations, every penny. By the time we were done, Vanessa had nothing left. She couldn't afford to keep the house. She couldn't afford rent anywhere decent. She couldn't afford her own legal fees. She was drowning. And I was watching from the shore. The inevitable phone call. 1 week later, she finally broke. My phone rang. Vanessa. I let it ring. Then ring again. Then ring a third time. Finally, I answered. Her voice was shaky. David, please. I stayed silent. Let her talk. I know I messed up, she whispered. I know I don't deserve anything from you. But I don't know what to do. I don't have anywhere to go. She choked back a sob. Please, just talk to me. I closed my eyes, relishing the sound of her brokenness. She never imagined this outcome. She thought she'd get away with it. She thought I'd just disappear quietly. She thought she'd walk away with her life intact. She was wrong. I took a breath and spoke the last words I would ever say to her. You did this to yourself. Click. I ended the call, blocked her number, and just like that, Vanessa Reynolds no longer existed in my life. The divorce was finalized in record time. I got the house. I got my finances back. And most importantly, I got my freedom. Vanessa. She moved in with her distant cousin, the only family member who would take her in. Word was, she was waiting tables at some chain restaurant now, barely scraping by. A far cry from the lavish life she once had. She went from corporate success to absolute nothing. And me? I was already moving forward. My lawyer called one morning with the final paperwork. It's over, he said. Officially. I smiled, standing in my doorway, looking out at the world. Yeah, I said. It is. And I closed the door. On Vanessa. On the past. On the pain. I walked into my new life, with nothing but peace in my heart. Because I didn't have to destroy her. She destroyed herself. And in the end, karma did all the work for me. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.